Where is this experiencing happening? Sounds of this room, creaking of floorboards. Is it a floorboard? Those are just stories that create a space of separation of out there and in here as a receiver of sounds. The Buddha could have called that something other than contact, but he called it contact plus some. It means touching. It means sound doesn't happen unless it touches the ear sensitivity. But we're not aware, we're only aware of that contact, either happening or not happening. You can think about it scientifically. It's really just one connection. It's just the mind that says the sound is out there. And there's a person over here. If you really open up to sound, there's just the sound. There's no person listening or not listening. There's no will, act of will that can resist sound. You can call that pure receptivity. That mind already exists, it's just covered over by thoughts and concepts, how we've trained it to live in the world. There's a mind that already exists and it's inseparable from whatever is arising. It can't pull back from a sound. I mean, it tries to, but it's just made up. It says, I like that sound. Turn this device off or that device off so I don't have to hear it. But hearing is always happening, even here at night. So the training is getting in touch with this mind before it deludes itself into separating. You can feel images arise in that space of maybe a car whooshing against the air. This whole story comes up, but somehow feels just that, a thought, perception, a fabrication, arising in a space of just hearing. Maybe like a noticeable sound is above a certain threshold. People have different thresholds, like mountains and crests and valleys. Sound is always there. Nothing to really control the sound. Can really see the desire to control when you try and point your mind at that control. You want to see mind saying, this is this. Sometimes it comes from an underlying anxiety, constantly assessing danger. That's why we take the precepts, goodwill, and take refuge. You have to keep looking into that underlying anxiety that wants to manage everything. You don't have to even understand the process, but that anxiety winds down and you just keep showing the mind reality. That's how my first teacher taught me meditation. Mindfulness is just an attunement to reality, and that's enough to go all the way to the release of suffering. Those are outer sounds. What about the inner sounds of thoughts? It might be easier to see that the ear receptivity, when it's functioning normally, there's no person who's a hearer controlling the sound. It's just intimate with sound or not intimate with sound. But when it's intimate with sound, it's 100% intimate with sound. Only thought says, no, you shouldn't be 100% intimate with the world. There are certain sounds that are bad, annoying. And we point our meditation in this direction because it's fruitful. It's a way of training the mind, attuning it to the nature of things as they are. most of that attunement will feel like a softening, a relaxing, a massaging, that it's a safe place to be as long, slightly traumatized by having heard a sound we didn't like, a sentence we didn't like. And so we pull back, we resist. So we have scars and retractions in each of the sense doors. We notice that the nature of this contact is something like the nature of love itself. The life is intimate connection. That intimate connection is already happening. Non-separation, you could say, is the given. The goal is not the oneness is already happening. It's more seeing the blue sky behind the clouds. First, we just go on confidence, faith, and then we get a glimpse. And another. And we turn it into a goal mistakenly. Have to get back to in a practice. And it's always already there. Tuning to what we already are rather than what we want to become. It takes more energy to become than to be. So path follows a lot of relaxation. And that path can feel like compassion, self-love, or it can just feel like proximity, closeness, intimacy, being gentle, trusting whatever's arising, affirming whatever is presenting itself. You can call it love, you can call it confidence. Just depends on your disposition. As we're focusing on hearing, notice how the breath changes. Notice that contact, that loving connection of reality. Notice how that opens in the heart. We can practice kind of metta through the sense doors. Are you the hearer, the listener? I feel a warm radiance in the heart when I open up hearing as hearing, without judgment, without setting aside thoughts, setting aside conceiving, perceiving. The attunement is like a gift to the present moment. It's a support for consciousness. With contact, there's consciousness. That consciousness is inseparable from the hearing. What happens to that consciousness when the sound disappears? So bound up with the sound. There's an awareness that remains, that was always there. You could say that sound consciousness is so bound up with the thing itself, it's born with it and dies with it. But it doesn't affect the underlying awareness. There's something that's already there. doesn't have a beginning or an end. Bound up with sound identities all day long. We introduce ourselves, say our name. For a moment, we're completely identified as the sound of our name. Then the sound ends. What remains? I am that too. I'm the undying awareness, that which is born, and that which dies. There are thoughts that, inner sounds that arise and trouble the waters, trouble the clarity. Buddha used words like greed, anger, and delusion to describe that, but those are just gross terms. It's really just an energetic pushing and pulling experience. See if you can notice thoughts and how they affect clarity, the intimacy of sound in life itself. The more we surrender and soften, the more the knowing of the sound is directly related as the sound itself. Nothing separate. continuous mindfulness. Just a path of removing resistance. You have an idea of calm and peace that it's distraction born of avoidance. We tend to our nervous systems through a series of distractions, using the mind to turn off the intimacy, the radical pureness of the sense doors. In meditation, we drop this strategy. That's why people don't meditate. It's their strategy. They haven't looked at the view of their strategy for happiness, which is distraction, and dropped it, seen it for what it is. The shaking anxiety, not wanting this life the way it is, with its birth and death that we experience every day. So many micro deaths, disappointments, dissatisfaction, worries about the past, present, and future. We set aside this strategy. We heal that shaking anxiety, tension, that holding, gripping, clinging feeling in each sense door. We take it into that contact, that touching sense. We see that we're safe there. The refuge is in the contact. The Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha are in the direction of contact, intimacy, connection, healing. And we hold ourselves apart from the vibration of life. We don't heal. We strategize about healing, but we don't actually heal from that. We take that deep vibration of the breath. It's there with an in-breath, it's there with an out-breath. It's a field of awareness without a center, without an edge. It's precious because it can't be compared to another. There's nothing like it. It's a gift and an honor. Keep attuning to what's present. And the herd is just the herd. In investigating that, I conclude the Buddha was right when he taught Bahia. I conclude that's just how I'm built, how this is built. How do you conclude? Built as openness. I don't die. Part of me does, and another part doesn't. They're not two separate things. Both are kind of radical intimacy. kind of non-judgmental, loving way of being. Sound knowing and knowing knowing, that knowing is their connection, you could say. And they both have the quality of just being here and reliable. I conclude I was built open for loving, for connecting, for intimacy, for knowing, for freedom, for non-clinging. So the heart can relax. There's nothing to push away from or push to. From this loving presence, let's share metta with each other here today. Our hearts beat as one. There's no other than this connection, no other than this love, this oneness. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. May the joy of this connection be accessible in the spaces that keep opening up to greater and greater connection to reality. May the mind be healed. May we all breathe and enjoy the vibration of this unity, this connection. Radiate this wisdom and love throughout the cosmos, including this planet, Northern Hemisphere, North America, all the locations, all at once. soften all of this great infinite wisdom into this presence here. Completely touched and radiant on all sides, open and revealing, not hiding. May there be peace. May there be peace. May there be peace.